have a friend of mine who resigned from a job that they had for 20 years. So I was asking them, so why are you resigning? Are you going to another job? And then they were like, Mo, I started preparing for this resignation 15 years ago. Guys, imagine 15 years ago. So for the people who are saying it's too early for me to start saving for my retirement, for my resignation, you have to start now. I really got motivated, so hata mimi nimeanza kujipanga. You know, people usually say we are just one illness away from being broke, from going bankrupt, okay? So I want you to get car insurance, I want you to get health insurance, I want you to get home insurance, yeah? And for the people who usually take third party insurance, nini shida yenu? Hi guys, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing good. Welcome to yet another episode of Life at the Moment podcast, and I'm your host, Wanjiku Mungai. Today, guys, you're going to be learning a lot. But before I dive in, please allow me to thank you for the support that you've shown me so far. Thank you for supporting all the content that I've been shooting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you even for the encouragement that you've been giving me to continue hanging in there, to continue being consistent. Thank you guys. Yeah, I really appreciate you. So guys, today nawapeleka darasani, okay? Yeah, I've had a lot of requests from people telling me, Wanjiku, now that you're a finance person, why can't you tell us something about finance, in one of the episodes? And I heard you guys, because today, grab your paper, grab your pen, grab your notebook, grab your seat, because today we're going back to class, okay? Finance 101. I know not so many people learned finance in their careers, but I feel like finance is one thing that is supposed to be taught to everybody, yeah? It's supposed to be put in all curriculums. It's supposed to be put to, all levels of learning, whether they're in primary, high school, university. I feel like finance, just a bit of finance, not the in-depth finance, balance sheet, whatever, something like personal finance management. I feel like it's something that you're supposed to be taught, from the word go. Wachana na venye tulikuwa tunasoma chemistry, sijui titration. I feel like there are a few aspects of finance that we're supposed to teach our kids at home, at school, in church. I feel like this is something we're supposed to learn, yeah? So guys, what is the topic for today? So today, guys, I'm going to be teaching you about personal finance management, okay? You can write it down somewhere. You write the date of today and you write the topic of today, because it's my hope that after this episode, you're going to be able to make better finance decisions moving forward, okay? So guys, I know someone will ask me, Wanjiku, what do you mean by personal finance management? I don't know if it's a term that you've heard before. You can let me know in the comment section whether you've heard about personal finance management, or whether you've learned it at some point, maybe from your peers who are in the finance world, maybe from your family, maybe from school. You can let me know on the comment section, yeah? So guys, what is personal finance management, yeah? So according to my own understanding, and just know that this is my own point of view, okay? So according to what I feel, personal finance management is just, how people spend their money, from the way they save, their income, from how they track their expenses, from how they budget. It's just those financial decisions that we make in our day-to-day lives, yeah? So guys, I'm going to be giving you tips on how you can be able to manage your personal finances well. So these are tips that I've tried and they have worked for me. And it's not to mean that I'm so perfect in managing my finances. It's just that I've learned with time, especially from people practically, and also I've learned a bit of it in school. Yeah. So, what is the first thing that you need to do in order to manage your finances well? Yeah. I know maybe you have one income stream, maybe you have multiple income streams, which is a good thing for you. I mean, we should all strive to have multiple sources of income. Yeah. So, one of the things I want you guys to do from today moving forward is writing down your financial goals. Yeah. So we have long-term financial goals and we have short-term financial goals. Yeah. I don't know, guys, do you do your financial goals maybe at the beginning of the year? Do you do, after 2 years, after 3 years? So I'll give you examples of my own personal financial goals, long-term and short-term. Okay. So for example, my long-term goals, yeah, I want to buy 5 acres of land in future, a land that I can be able to do farming, because I love farming, and I would also want to do large-scale farming commercially. Yeah, I would want to plant, let's say, onions, maize, even trees, avocados. I would want in future to acquire 5 acres of land in a place that is fertile and a place that it has enough rainfall. Yeah. Another one of my long-term goals, I really love money market. Yeah. So I would want to have, let's say, about 2 to 3 million in a money market fund. So that I can be earning interest. Okay, so for me, the 3 million in the money market fund is also my emergency fund. I'm going to talk about emergency funds later on in the video. So I would want to own land and have 2 to 3 million in a money market fund. Yeah. So I know, guys, you will ask me what is a money market fund, which are the best money market funds currently. Maybe we can do a separate video on that, on which money market funds you should try and invest in. So those are my two long-term goals. And my short-term goals, guys, for example, I'm planning for a white wedding this year, sometime this year. So I would want to save towards that wedding, and I would also want to save towards my honeymoon. Yeah, so you don't want to have a wedding to entertain visitors and not have a good honeymoon. Yeah, so those are my two short-term goals. And maybe the third short-term goals, there's a course I want to do by the end of the year. That's the data analytics. So I also have to save some money aside so that I can be able to, cater for that analytics course. So always, guys, make sure that you have short-term and long-term financial goals, because if you don't have goals, so what are you working on? Yeah. So you should have those goals and prioritize them from the one that you want the most to the one that you want the least. So that now you can be able to allocate funds for each goal. Okay. So after doing the financial goals, what do you do next? Yeah. So the second thing, guys, I want you to budget your money. Yeah. Create a budget each and every month. Have a budget. It can be a recurring budget, for things that happen each and every month. Yeah. So a budget is just a plan on how you plan to allocate the income that is coming in. To allocate it among your expenses, among your savings, among your insurance, and among your investments. Okay, so there are different types of budgets. So we have I know two major ones. We have the 40, 30, 20, 10 rule. Yeah, and also we have the 50, 30. It's that 50, 30, 20 rule. Okay. For the 40, 30, 20, 10 rule, it says that you're supposed to spend 40% of your income towards your basic needs, okay? These are things that you cannot live without. That is rent, we have transport, we have clothes, and we have food, okay? And then you're supposed to spend 30% on what we call discretionary spending.
this is spending on wants, yeah. So wants are like entertainment, travels, eating out, yeah. So you spend 30% of your income towards that, okay? And also you're supposed to spend 20% of your income towards savings and paying debt, okay? And lastly you're supposed to spend 10% on charitable givings or meeting your financial goals, okay? And there's some other people who say this 10%, you're supposed to spend it on insurance. Here, insurance means like having health insurance, having home insurance, those educational policies, car insurance, okay? So for the 50-30-20 rule, it says that you're supposed to spend at least 50% of your income towards your needs. That's the basic needs like rent, mortgage, utilities, transport, and clothes and food. And also spend 30% of your income on your wants. That's what we call discretionary spending, things that you can live without. Things that you can live without, for example traveling, eating out, entertainment, and then you're supposed to spend the remainder, which is 20%, and divide it between saving, investing, and paying debts, okay? So that's the 50-30-20 rule.
So those are the two major rules when it comes to budgeting, but you can always adjust the rules to according to your needs, according to your income, and according to maybe the number of dependents that you have, okay? So after budgeting, I want you to build an emergency fund. Guys, I don't know, there's so many things that can happen in our lives. I mean, you saw what happened when corona came. People were not prepared well in terms of finances. People lost their jobs, others ended up in depression. You do not want to get there. They usually say, especially if you have a family, you're supposed to keep 3 to 6 months of your expenses in a separate account, yeah. So let's say, for example, you usually spend about 200,000 on your expenses. That's rent, food, internet, fuel, or whatever. All those things. You're supposed to keep 1.2 million on a separate account. There's a friend of mine at work who tells me that for him, he keeps his emergency funds in a money market. So he doesn't only have an emergency fund sitting in a bank account, he has an emergency fund that is growing each and every day, okay? So always make sure that you have an emergency fund for the unseen circumstances, okay? So what happens after you have an emergency fund? I want you guys to avoid having credit card balances. I know it's easier said than done, okay? But so when it comes to credit, I want to involve even kina KCB M-Pesa, kina M-Shwari, Tala, Branch, you see all those, even Fuliza, yeah? I want you guys to try as much as possible to avoid that, credit balance, okay? I remember there's a time me and my sister, I'm sorry sis, but I have to give this example, okay? Yeah, so I remember there's a time we started staying with my sister during COVID times because, we were saying that the money that we were receiving from our salaries was just not enough to sustain us. So when we started living together, we came to realize, kumbe we have been living beyond our means. We would have KCB M-Pesa balances at the end of the month. You have to pay 7,000. You'd have M-Shwari balances. So guys, I want you to start living within your means, okay? Always make sure that the money that is coming in is almost the same as the money that is going out, yeah, as expenses, okay? Yeah, so you should avoid having credit balances, and if you have a credit card, just use it when it's necessary, okay? Don't use it to go shopping, CG for clothes, CG for what. Just use that credit card if it's an emergency. And if you have an emergency fund, why do you need a credit card for your emergencies, okay? So from today on, I want us to try as much as we can to live within our means, all right? So after avoiding a credit card balance, I want you guys to pay your bills on time. Let me tell you guys, landlords wanakwanga wametuambia you have to pay your rent by 5th of every month, sijui lipa maji by 5th of every month, lipa for your garbage fees, service fees by 5th. But guys, do you have a deadline for paying for all your bills? Like for example, myself, we usually get paid before the 31st of every month. So for me, on every 29th, I usually pay all my bills. So let me guys tell you what I usually do with my salary, okay? So I usually receive my salary, and then I have my recurrent bills, yeah? So rent, fuel, electricity, you know, chama. I usually withdraw money on the day that we are paid and put it separately for all the expenses. And I'll talk about that later, yeah? So always make sure that you have a deadline for paying all your bills, because when you want to go to the bank to borrow a facility, a loan, the lender always calculates what we call a credit score. So they always arrive at the credit score by seeing how well you pay your credit, by also seeing how well you pay your bills. So how well you pay your credit and how well you pay your bills, they are going to go to your credit score, okay? So make sure you have a deadline on when to pay your bills, all right? Okay, so after paying your bills on time, I want you to start saving and investing, okay? So about saving, let me tell you guys how I usually save myself, okay? So I am a member of a certain circle, so I have a standing order. Each and every time my salary comes in, it comes less of the amount that goes to the savings in my circle account. So automate your savings. If you wait until mid-month for you to send money to your savings account, it's not gonna happen. So please ensure that you save money and that you automate the savings to your account, all right? So after saving, what are you saving towards? We already said you have to come up with your goals, financial goals. So you're saving towards those goals. Whether it's a retirement, like for example, guys, you're not too young to start saving for your retirement, okay? You might be 23, unaona ndio umeingia job, unaona retirement, 55, iko mbali. But guys, you're supposed to start now, today, yeah? And when you save, yeah, what do you do with the savings? Do you just let it sit in the bank? Obviously, there's some fixed deposit accounts which earn interest yearly per month, but there's so many ways in which you can invest these savings to make it grow, okay? You can, for example, myself, I love money market funds. Those are, you know, for the money that you would want to withdraw anytime. You can invest in bonds. So for bonds, you just invest money that you don't need in a period of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We have the infrastructure bond. We even have the, is it EABL bond that is usually floated after 3 to 5 years, yeah? So we have bonds, you can buy shares, you can buy something called rates. So rates are real estate insurance trust, yeah? For example, I heard that Kwetu is a rate. So for rates, you just buy shares in real estate, yeah, and then you get a monthly or a yearly dividend. I don't know how frequently they pay the dividend, but you just buy shares, yeah, and you co-own the property with other people, okay? And you can also do fixed deposit accounts. You can build rentals. I mean, guys, land and rentals are two things that are never gonna lose value, yeah? So it's always a good thing if you want to invest in rentals. There's peer-to-peer lending, and you can also start a business. And just let me tell you guys, I have a friend of mine who resigned from a job that they had for 20 years. So I was asking them, so why are you resigning? Are you going to another job? And then they were like, Mo, I started preparing for this resignation 15 years ago. Guys, imagine 15 years ago. So For the people who are saying it's too early for me to start saving for my retirement, for my resignation, you have to start now. I really got motivated, so hata mimi nimeanza kujipanga. Yeah, so after saving and investing, guys, finally I want you to get insurance. You know, people usually say we are just one illness away from being broke, from going bankrupt, okay? So I want you to get car insurance, I want you to get health insurance, I want you to get home insurance, yeah? And for the people who usually take third party insurance, nini shida yenu? Guys, it's not one time nimeona mtu gari yake imegongwa na akarudi kuchukua matatu. I'm not saying that using a matatu is a bad thing, but if you have a car, I mean, don't get a car if you cannot be able to pay for comprehensive insurance. I mean, be cautious, be woke, yeah? For health insurance, this is a no-brainer, guys. And nowadays we have NHIF, and you only have to contribute, I think, 500 shillings for NHIF. And there's so many hospitals that accept NHIF. There's so many hospitals that pay all the bills, yeah, if someone is under NHIF, okay? And if you don't want NHIF, there's so many insurance companies, like the best health insurance covers that I know. You can get Old Mutual, you can get GA, you can get Jubilee, you can get Heritage. Please go for the best covers for your family, especially if you have kids. And if you have a big family, you are supposed to get an insurance, okay? And also get home insurance, just in case thieves break into your house. So, to recap what you've learned today, I hope you've learned something, guys, and I hope that you're going to be putting this into practice. It's easier said than done. Hata mimi najua hivyo. It's easier said than done. But I want you to be able to come up with your financial goals each and every month, each and every year, short term and long term. I want you to have a budget, a workable budget, a smart budget. I want you to have an emergency fund. I want you to start saving, automate your savings. I want you to start investing, money market funds, buy shares, buy stocks, buy bonds, real estate, go and buy some shares in real estate. And I want you guys to have insurance, okay? Whether it's car insurance, health insurance, I want you guys to start doing those things from today. And after all that is said and done, please always look for ways to cut your expenses. Don't buy things that you don't need today, yeah? Because if you buy things that you don't need today, you're going to look for people to sell, those things in future, okay? So cut your expenses and teach your children as early as now importance of, being mindful when it comes to money, having smart goals when it comes to money. And there's no a later time to start saving and to start being mindful on money as today. So start doing these things today. Don't feel bad because you've not been saving. You can start now and you can build towards a very good future, okay? And please don't forget to enjoy life. You can even have a trip to Europe as one of your goals, that you're saving towards, okay? So usijifinye sana pia, unafaa uambie mwili pole. At the end of the day, you're the one who is looking for the money. So guys, that's the end of today's episode. I don't know if you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, please let me know on the comment section. And let me know, what do you know about personal finance management? Are you going to start using the tips that I've given you? It's all up to you. The ball lies in your court. And that's it today, guys. Please let me know how you found this episode. I will really appreciate your comments. And also, are there other things about finance you would want me to talk about? Okay, I'm here, I'm a finance person. I would really love to talk about different aspects of finance. And guys, until the next episode, it's goodbye for now. Share this episode and follow me on Instagram at Wanjiku __Mungai. Bye guys.